Dear C4CARE Podcast listeners, hello. Welcome back to another episode. Today, we are joined by our BOJANA BELJIĆ, Marketing and PR Manager at Special Hospital for Treatment and Rehabilitation Merkur from Vrnjačka Banja, Serbia. Bojana has vast experience working in Special Hospital Merkur as a PR and marketing manager, as a sales manager, and also her experience from the IT department. And in previous years, she also worked in other job positions and also finished the Faculty of Hospitality and Tourism in Vrnjačka Banja, Serbia. And as we are all also researchers, she also managed to publish some scientific articles in her previous work experience. So Bojana, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Simon. Thank you for having me in this podcast. And thank you for this nice introduction. As you said, I am PR manager at Special Hospital Merkur, PP09, but as a part of team of SI4CARE project, I'm responsible for communication.
Maybe I'll just start with our first question. So, as the SI4CARE project is very much related to the aging population, maybe can you elaborate a bit on your personal previous experience regarding the elderly population in Serbia? And given that your organization has some expert knowledge in the field of treatment and rehabilitation of the elderly, do you maybe believe that the needs of the elderly in Serbia, especially if we are talking about healthcare and long-term care, are adequately covered, or do you maybe see any important gaps in this specific field?
When we talk about personal experience about elderly population, I think that for all of us, the first point is experience that we all have with our elderly family members. I actually grew up with my grandparents in the same house, so I could very close see what are their needs, their expectations. I could hear what they talk about with their friends, what are they worry about. And that's the way I create my personal perspective about this specific age of life and also about their healthcare needs. I also have some personal experience about using new technologies with my grandparents. At the moment, my family taught them how to use mobile phones, for example, or digital TVs, and there was many difficult and of course many funny situations in that moment. But by working on a SI4CARE project in Serbia, status quo analysis show that many members of elderly population actually don't have any financial cover for their health needs, and that many of them have a support of a family when their financials we are talking about. Also, people who are living in rural areas don't always have a public transport service to go to healthcare facilities, and it's preventing them from receiving the medical treatments. And actually, that is my personal experience confirmed that, because I had a grandfather who lived at rural area, and when I was driving him to medical exams, I also took with us his friends, his neighbors, who didn't have someone to take them, or there wasn't public transport at that specific time they needed. That is my answer is actually a combination of status quo analysis in Serbia that we took by making a questionnaire and some of my personal experience.
Well, thank you very much for such a detailed answer. It really shows that you are engaged on an individual and also a professional level. Then I would start maybe from the perspective of your organization, so our friends from Special Hospital Merkur. If you can maybe mention a few of your advantages or strengths when it comes to Merkur and dealing with the field of healthcare and diabetes especially.
Merkur is a modern health institution with a tradition of 75 years. It's a health center for prevention, diagnostic treatments, and rehabilitation. And we are unique because of application of the natural factor of Vrnjačka Banja, mineral waters, for health purposes. Diabetes, gastroenterology diseases, and physical rehabilitation are main indications at Merkur. And we have a big medical team of 40 doctors of different specialties and over 100 of medical staff. At 2008, Merkur became National Center for Diabetes and eminent institution of this type in whole Europe. More than 10,000 patients who are suffering from diabetes have treatments in Merkur for just 1 year. We are also scientific base for medicine faculty in Belgrade, so we have professors in Serbia. But when we are talking about elderly patients, more than 65% of our patients are older than 65 years. So that we have a lot of experience, and also the pilot that is made in Merkur give us some new results. They actually don't like, beside the pilot, to talk about the previous, our previous vision of our patients, elderly. They don't like new things, they don't like changes. They always want word more. They don't like new technologies and prefer the personal conversation.
Well, thank you for another detailed answer. Then one of my favorite topics, as we are from the School of Economics and Business, is teamwork. So maybe you can elaborate a bit on how did you at Merkur select the team members that are part of this project. So Srđan, Miodrag, and Nikola at the moment, and maybe from your personal and organizational perspective, how would you say, how satisfied are you with SI4CARE project up until today?
This is a very interesting question because it's very important for us. Actually, Merkur's top management puts teamwork as a high priority at all sectors. Our director, Dr. Dejan Stanojević, put lots of efforts in the years behind to create the atmosphere of a healthy workplace with good cooperation between all the sectors. And I must say that it's a big pleasure to be the part of member team. We are actually all great friends and have a lot hanging out beside the working place, helping each other and celebrating all the important events together. And I think that the good spirit between colleagues, it's very important. And when it comes to Merkur, it's kind of a secret ingredients for success in business. Members of SI4CARE project team were chosen by their previous experience, and we all work together, have regular meetings with the medical team, and we go together coordinating all the activities on project.
Well, I think it really shows that you have an excellent relationship because you work as a great team and everyone knows exactly what the other is doing. Then I would have more of a personal question. So your education is based on tourism, hospitality. So how did you maybe initially got involved in the field of healthcare, rehabilitation, treatment, diabetes, which is perhaps a bit different from what you studied at the faculty?
I am actually engineer of organization science. What is really interesting, but with specialization for tourism and hospitality. I was born and grew up at Vrnjačka Banja, and all we from Banja As we were kids, had experience with many tourists, many people who came to Vrnjačka Banja for healthcare and mineral waters. And we all knew for benefits of mineral waters of Vrnjačka Banja as we were very young. At one point, the market situation signalized the need for creating marketing department at Merkur. And at that moment, Miodrag Miljković became head of this new marketing department, and a new young team of people were included at these jobs, and one of them was I. Marketing at healthcare is a very specific field, so we must create very unique strategies and procedures in order for us to be successful in our jobs. But it was kind of a challenge, and we managed to make very good effects in this new marketing department. I'm specialized for PR and communication, but I also do all the other marketing and sales jobs as copywriting, social media, campaigns on social media and other digital platforms, advertising, complete sales activities, etc.
Well, I think that you're really good at your job also when it comes to promoting the SI4CARE project, which enables us to do a better job overall. So congratulations also on that. Maybe my next question is also related in a way to our project. I know that you in Merkur are involved also in several other projects. So you can have a good overview in comparing how is SI4CARE maybe different from the projects that you are involved in. And as a follow-up of this question, maybe you can discuss what is, in your opinion, the main focus, the main outcome of the SI4CARE project towards increasing the well-being of the aging population in Serbia. And also, if you imagine at the very end of the project, what would you still like us to achieve to enhance that well-being in society?
We in Merkur, we like innovations very much, and we always want to participate in some new and innovative projects. But this project is the first EU project in Special Hospital Merkur, so it's unique at first by this fact. It's not the only one, but it's one of the rare projects at Serbia that puts improvement of life quality of elderly population, and that it's why we wanted so much to be the part of it. Our main expectation regarding the SI4CARE project is to make some changes. Changes at the health system of Serbia is the main goal. The most important outcome for us is modernization of medical treatments and introduction of digitalization of healthcare.
Well, thank you very much. I also see during our project that you have excellent connections with your ministry. People from the ministry are always present at your regional events, also when it comes to the event you had in Vrnjačka Banja. So maybe I'm interested in your perspective when it comes to working with ministries. What is the most important thing when it comes to developing action plans, strategies that are then implemented on the ministry level for the people in Serbia, so to say?
Ministry of Health is actually our founder and our owner, so we have a very close connection, and we are making great efforts to keep these good relations, and I think that we are successful in that way because, as you said, we have a great support by their side, and all strategies and action plans we create together with Ministry of Health as well as with the Ministry of Labor and actually with all the other relevant stakeholders.
Well, I have another question that is really intriguing for me because I think that your pilot activity is one of the most interesting ones in the C4CARE project. So the exact title of your pilot activity is ICT solution for monitoring the health of patients after returning home. And it is especially focused on the possibility of remote communication for consultation with your doctors. Could you maybe tell us something more?
Mhm. ICT solution for monitoring the health and aging patients after returning home. It's the name of our pilot, as you said, and it was realized at the hospital level on Merkur patients. More than half of them were older than 65, and they were from all over the Serbia. The main target group of patients were people with diabetes, since Merkur is the National Diabetes Center that receives up to 10,000 diabetics by 1 year. These projects show that which are the opportunities for the introduction of telemedicine in Serbia by using modern software and the communication tool. We choose SI4CARE platform as the best practice solution. In this software, functions are monitoring the health status of diabetics and tracked by Merkur doctors who gave patients advices and change in therapy if it was needed. We had a group of age group of 65 plus, and we had one more group of younger patients just to have some results to compare with as a control group. This pilot included 50 patients, and it showed that patients who suffer of diabetes are very satisfied with the fact that they can be in touch with their Merkur doctors, and at the other side, the doctors broke down some prejudice that existed in traditional medicine about using telemedicine. We actually put a lot of effort of education of these patients who were involved in the pilot, to educate them how to use this application, and we make a great effort.
Well, I think it's very interesting to hear that both patients and doctors are very satisfied with your solution. So I think it's something that has a positive effect on the well-being in society. And as you mentioned, telemedicine, my next question is related to telemedicine. So maybe during the COVID pandemic, we saw that some important changes happened also within the healthcare sector related to telemedicine. Maybe could you describe, I don't know, the overall state when it comes to telemedicine?
I think that telemedicine is part of future healthcare. It's the question how rapidly it will grow in a particular country. The COVID pandemic showed us that we can manage some quick education and quick ways to give people health services when they are far away from a doctor. And I think the telemedicine is the future at whole world, and also at Serbia. And I believe, and we also at Merkur believe that we will give a big contribution of the speed of its development in our country by participating in this project. And the SI4CARE project by itself will give great effects for the whole Adria region.
I would say that you at Merkur are definitely experts when it comes to the field of telemedicine. So maybe, do you have any suggestions? How will the future development of telemedicine look like?
future telemedicine will be something that we can even imagine. It will be, this is a kind of joke. Who knows how it will look? The first step will be certainly engaged with mobile phones and mobile platforms, because it's part of life of all age of population. That is now my opinion. But technology, science, who know what tools will develop in the future. That will let us to use telemedicine maybe easier or more comfortable. And
well, I'm pretty sure that whatever will happen, I'm also of the opinion that I don't know what it will be, but Merkur in Serbia will most probably be an important part of that future solutions.
thank you.
You mentioned at the beginning of the podcast that you helped your elderly generation and their neighbors with their, so to say, transportation to healthcare institutions and so on. So maybe a general question again from the perspective of Serbia. How would you say are the intergenerational relationships between different generations in Serbia? Are they good?
Relations with generations. In Serbia, they are still good. Depends of the part of the city, of the type of the family, but we take care about our older members of family. That is my opinion from my experience that I have around me.
Well, then maybe I can continue with my next question, at least from the perspective of Slovenia. When we talk about healthcare and long-term care, the majority of services, they are covered by public services, so to say. I would ask, is the situation in Serbia similar? And could you maybe imagine in the future that some of the services from healthcare will be covered also by private organizations?
At Serbia, there is a large number of public health care, but there is a large number of private healthcare and long-time care institutions. And this private sector is very good developed in Serbia for many years behind. At Vrnjačka Banja, we have a private, long-term private institution named Queen's Residence, and they have very full capacity, and there is a big interest for their services. Actually, this institution was very helpful for us by providing them information in the period that when we were making status quo analysis.
Up until this point, we only talked about the SI4CARE project, about Merkur Hospital. I'm sure that for the people that will be listening to us, they would also like to know something about our guests. So maybe Bojana, do you have any interesting hobbies when you're not working at Merkur?
My main job, actually, it's my family. I have two sons who are playing basketball, and we watch or play basketball the whole day. I'm kidding, but that's actually my favorite job. And as all moms, every day I'm learning biology, math, French, etc. And in this moment, we are very excited because we are preparing for basketball competition at Italy, where my older son, Nicola, is going with the Red Star basketball team. You're familiar, I'm sure, with the Red Star team. For his age, he will be with them at the last days of this year. My whole family, we love sport, and we are trying to spend much more time outside to walk and also to have some time with friends and family.
Well, first of all, congratulations on the successful career of your family members. When it comes to basketball, I hope that you like Luka Doncic.
No, I don't know. Of course.
And maybe my last question for today, I know you have a busy schedule, not to take too much of your time. Maybe your concluding thought or a key takeaway from the perspective of Merkur for the SI4CARE project, also for everyone involved to continue with their excellent work.
My main message for all listeners is to care for the elderly, for their family members, to to learn from them, to spend time with them, and listen to their needs and their thoughts. That's something that we all can do to make small steps that can make big difference for society of older population, and projects like SI4CARE will be more easier to implement and make changes at institutional and national level.
Well, thank you very much for another detailed answer. So dear SI4CARE listeners, today we were joined by Bojana BeljIC, the PR and marketing manager from our project partner number 9, Special Hospital Merkur. So Bojana, from me, thank you very much for taking the time in your busy schedule, and I'm very grateful that you were able to share your knowledge with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. It was my pleasure.